Today in the battle arena, well, we've got Thor, the god of thunder, going up against Wonder Woman, the princess of the Amazons. So who's coming out on top here? Let's find out. Thor, Odin's son, is the Asgardian god of thunder, the former king of Asgard and New Asgard, as well as a founding member of the Avengers. Thor is easily one of the most powerful heroes on Earth, as he's been able to stop an overhanded blow from the Hulk, casually break out of Surtur's metal chains while a large dragon was struggling to break just one link, and in his awakened form, Thor was able to restart the forge along with a little help from Rocket Raccoon and his spaceship. Thor is also able to throw an incredibly powerful punch, even if he doesn't have his hammers, Mjolnir, or Stormbreaker by his side. He actually repeatedly was able to send Hulk flying backwards with his attacks, sending Hulk flying through hundreds of feet of alien metal just one hit, and hit Hulk so hard that the mere shockwaves were the size of a large building. He's durable enough to take attacks from some of the most powerful beings in the MCU, like a Curse and Ultron Prime, repeated attacks from Hulk, and even attacks from Thanos. Thor has taken blasts from Gungnir, Odin's magical and powerful spear, was at ground zero for both the Rainbow Bridge explosion and Ultron's asteroid city, yet wasn't knocked out by either, and survived stabs from Hela's necroblades, which had previously easily killed other Asgardians. He's even survived a full power of a neutron star for almost a full minute. Thor is also surprisingly fast, isn't afraid to bull rush opponents, and is also easily able to deflect blaster fire and energy blast, and even destroy Hela's swords in mid-air. Then, after having Mjolnir destroyed, Thor learned that he could generate lightning himself without the hammer, generating massive lightning strikes and even destroying a part of the Rainbow Bridge. He's also able to amp his punches with lightning, sending Hulk flying through the air and generating massive shockwaves with his blows. Then finally, Thor helped to create Stormbreaker, which was going to be Thor's coronation gift. It can freely and instantly summon and control the Bifrost, and just the sheer power of wielding it would kill weaker beings. With his weapon by his side, Thor was able to destroy large portions of the Outrider army, overpower a full Infinity Gauntlet, nearly kill Thanos. Then Thor actually went on to cut off Thanos' arm and succeeded in killing Thanos and cutting off his head. So that's who we got in one corner. Thor Odin's son, the god of thunder. But entering the ring in the other corner was none other than Princess Diana, Wonder Woman. Princess Diana of Themyscira is an Amazonian warrior princess, one of the world's first superheroes, known as Wonder Woman. Born the daughter of Zeus, Diana grew up to be a skilled warrior and traveled from Themyscira alongside Steve Trevor to fight in World War I and defeat Ares, the god of war. In the present day, she helped Batman and Superman take down the Kryptonian monster Doomsday, and went on to form the Justice League alongside Batman in order to protect the Earth from future threats. Wonder Woman is superhumanly strong, being able to injure people like Ares, Steppenwolf, and Doomsday for attacks, and even stagger someone like Superman when he was resurrected. Also managed to flip an Earhart into the air, lifted and threw a World War I tank, and destroyed a bell tower for charge. Also incredibly durable, being able to take attacks on people like Ares, Superman, Doomsday, and Steppenwolf. She's taken Ares' electric blast, barely even been phased by large explosions. Finally, Wonder Woman is incredibly fast, being able to casually react to gunfire and deflect it with her bracelets, deflecting modern-day automatic gunfire as well as deflecting a bullet right back into the barrel of the gun. She's also blitzed countless soldiers, and even though this version of Wonder Woman can't fly, she is quite the jumper. Also quite the fighter, having been trained since a young age to become the skillful and feared warrior that she is today. She's used her skill to fight against the monster Doomsday, the god of war Ares, and the new god Steppenwolf. She's also got plenty of magical gear and weapons that she can use in a fight, including the Sword of Athena, which was able to cut through Doomsday, the lasso of truth, able to restrain Doomsday, and her bracelets, which have been able to deflect Doomsday's blasts. In short, with a combination of her skill, physicality, and her weapons, Wonder Woman is one of the most formidable opponents in the whole DCEU. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, Thor and Wonder Woman are actually two very similar heroes. Both gods, both representing their different pantheons of gods, and they've been thrown in fights together quite a few times. But today we're mixing it up a little bit and throwing Wonder Woman and Thor from the movies against one another. The MCU and the DCEU going head to head. So who's coming out on top here? Well, let's find out. Also, just a heads up, we're not going to be including Wonder Woman 1984 in this movie. Partly to avoid spoilers, but mostly because I haven't actually seen the movie at the time I'm working on this video. So that's all. Now let's get started. And first we're going to take a look at his strength and power. Let's start Diana. Well, way back in World War I, Wonder Woman is able to flip over an Earhart into the air, which weighs around 7 tons, lift and throw a tank, which would weigh around 30 tons, and destroy a bell tower for charge. Although you could argue that it wasn't Diana's strength that knocked down that bell tower, but she simply took out the support beam and it crumpled under its own weight. Honestly, it doesn't matter. The point is, she knocked it over. Plus, there are two things to note here. First off, that was all the way back in World War I, where Wonder Woman was the weakest we've seen her, and she's gained a lot more power since then. I mean, she was even gaining more power throughout World War I, specifically in her fight against Ares, engaging off her fights against Doomsday and Steppenwolf. She's been gaining more power ever since. And second thing we gotta remember, even if Wonder Woman might not have as many strength feats as other people in the DCEU, or as her opponent Thor, she's done remarkably well against these strong characters. She's charged Steppenwolf through a wall, was able to hold her own against Doomsday, and even temporarily restrain him with her lasso, and Diana even managed to stagger Superman with a headbutt post-resurrection. All those people are clearly stronger than her. And there are actually cases of each one undeniably overpowering her. But yet, she was still able to fight against them with her own strength. But what about Thor? Well, he's been able to overpower Iron Man, overpower Loki, even momentarily overpower and stop the Hulk, despite the fact that Thor was in a compromised position and Hulk had the leverage and was leaning in with all his weight. He was also able to send Hulk absolutely flying with one good swing from a giant hammer, sending him flying through hundreds of feet of solid metal on top of that. And that was all pre-awakening, pre-God mode. After that, well, he restarted the Forge. Nidavellir is an entire array of rings and machines surrounding a dying star, meaning it could be considered the size of a real small planet. And Thor basically restarted it with his bare hands and broke that ice just by pushing really, really hard, albeit with a little bit of help from Rocket and his spaceship. He accidentally knocked out Iron Man with a throw from Mjolnir, and Iron Man is tough enough to be hit with parts of a moon. He dismembered and decapitated Thanos, and I'm actually going to argue right now that post-Awakening, post-Stormbreaker, Thor is straight up the strongest hero in the MCU. Stronger than Hulk, even stronger than Captain Marvel. And it's all based upon how they scale off of Thanos. Hulk miserably lost his one and only fight with the Mad Titan, so he's pretty much instantly out. Then while Carol did manage to hold back Thanos' hand and actually overpower him and knock him to his knees, this doesn't necessarily mean that Captain Marvel is stronger than Thanos, because Thanos has got the Infinity Gauntlet on at the time. The Infinity Gauntlet has enough power to completely ruin Hulk's arm, kill Iron Man, even significantly injure Thanos both times he used it. So putting it on here definitely weakened Thanos to some degree. On top of that, Thanos was using just one hand, while Captain Marvel was using two. So impressive, no doubt. But Thor's showing against Thanos just more impressive. He was in a grappling duel for Stormbreaker with Thanos, and despite the fact that the Mad Titan was slowly winning, this was just because he had all the leverage in the moment and was pushing down of all of his body weight, while Thor was in a severely compromised position and couldn't get any leverage of his own. And Thor was still strong enough to hold him off. On top of that, Thanos isn't the one weakened in the moment, Thor is. It's been 5 years since he fought, 5 years since he last worked out, 5 years since he was probably last sober. You can't tell me that he wasn't weaker than he was in Infinity War or Ragnarok. And yet, still, Thor is able to hold off Thanos, strongest guy in the MCU. So yeah, I'm gonna say that Thor is the stronger one out of the two. Same with durability. He was at the epicenter of both the Rainbow Bridge explosion and the explosion of Sokovia. Took a point-blank blast to the head from the Power Stone and started another explosion generated from the Power Stone. He's been smacked around by Iron Man, Ultron, Kurtz, and definitely Hulk. He took a punch from the Hulk in Avengers and smiled, and he's even been beat up by Hulk so hard that he began to see visions of his dead father. Yet in all of those cases, Thor was never knocked out. Sometimes he went on to technically win the fight, like with Hulk. Other times he was just toying with them, like with Ultron. He withstood a massive beating from Thanos, similar to the one Hulk took, if not worse, yet wasn't knocked out and continued fighting. And then we gotta circle back around to the Forge. I mean, the guy survived the heat, force, and power of a neutron star for almost a full minute. Nothing that anyone else has done in the MCU is more impressive than that. Arguably, nothing anyone has done in any comic book movie ever is more impressive than that. But flip the script. What about Wonder Woman? Well, Diana has taken punches and attacks from Ares, punches and axe swipes from Steppenwolf. She just smirked after being hit and was sent flying backwards by Doomsday. And Wonder Woman was barely even phased after being hit with a headbutt from a post-resurrection Superman. However, there is one important thing to remember when talking about Wonder Woman. Unlike Thor, Diana doesn't have to take every attack that comes her way. She's got her magical bracelets and her magical shield, and she can block attacks as well. I mean, that's what she primarily did during her fights against Doomsday and Steppenwolf. Use her shield to protect her from attacks instead of just her pure durability. The shield has even taken a full powered punch from Superman, and it didn't even dent the shield one bit. So it's going to be able to take attacks from Thor too. But still, Thor is more durable. Taking the force of a star is something that Diana has never even come close to copying. However, that being said, Wonder Woman has got her advantages too, as she's the whole lot faster one out of the two. I mean, Diana is a casual bullet timer, starting all the way back in World War One, where she was able to block bullets, even bullets coming from multiple directions, and she used her shield to block a tank turret. Then in the modern day, even while in a crouched position, she was still able to intercept every bullet from an automatic rifle and actually see the bullets and track them as they moved. She's also been able to blitz opponents, and she's actually done this on multiple occasions. And she even moved so fast in her fight against Ares that it basically looked like she had teleported. But I want to talk about Thor's speed for a second here too. Make a case that while he isn't faster than Wonder Woman, by no means is he faster than Diana, he also isn't technically slow. In fact, he's on the faster end of the spectrum in the MCU. He's blocked the Destroyer's energy beam, blocked Atari plasma shots, blocked Ultron's energy blast, and blocked and destroyed Hela's swords. He's dodged Malekith's attacks, dodged attacks from the Hulk, dodged attacks from Thanos, and even just directly proven that he's faster than the Hulk by landing punches quicker. On top of that, he's one of the only ones able to recognize Quicksilver's movements and actually move in Quicksilver time. Thor also really likes a good bull rush too, as he's rammed Malekith, saved Loki from a black hole grenade. There was even possibly a mock cone forming around his hammer as he flew away from the giant dragon. Thor isn't slow, he just isn't. With all that being said, Thor's physically superior. He's stronger, he's tougher, and even though Diana is much faster, I actually think the speed gap is smaller between the two than the strength and durability gap. With that being said, I think almost a more important part of this fight are going to be their weapons and their skills and powers. Wonder Woman is a really skilled fighter, as from a real young age, she was trained by her aunt to become the warrior that she is today. She was able to dominate fellow Amazonians during her training, plowed through German soldiers like it was nothing, and she's even been able to battle against the god of war Ares, Steppenwolf, and yeah, Doomsday. And Wonder Woman really does have some seriously powerful weapons on her to help her in this fight. Her shield is durable enough to withstand strikes from Steppenwolf's axe. It held up well against Doomsday's beam and his explosive blast, and when Superman punched it with enough power to create shockwaves and send Diana flying backwards, the shield didn't even dent. Her braces are able to create powerful shockwaves when she brings them together, and they're enough to knock Doomsday backwards, blast Ares away, and absolutely send Steppenwolf flying backwards. And especially important to this fight, she's used them to absorb and redirect Ares' lightning before. So could very well do the exact same thing here with Thor. Then her lasso of truth is capable of destroying Ares' sword. It's strong enough to momentarily restrain Doomsday. Then there's the Sword of Athena, which Wonder Woman used to chop off Doomsday's hand. But then what about Thor? I mean, he's got his advantages too. So Thor is 1,500 years old. He grew up and thrived in a warrior culture, and has defeated countless enemies. And if you want to question Thor's skill, just look how he plowed through an entire group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents while he was depowered, or fought against Hela, who had previously wiped out the entirety of the Asgardian army. Then he's got Stormbreaker. It overpowered a blast from a 6-stone Infinity Gauntlet. It impaled Thanos in the chest, nearly killed him, and later it did dismember and decapitate the Mad Titan. And Thor will have absolutely no problem doing the exact same thing here. Thanos is already more durable than Wonder Woman. So the axe should injure Diana just for that reason alone, especially since she really has no piercing durability to speak of. And then there's his lightning. It's been able to take down a Leviathan, whereas Jarvis told Tony that the Iron Man suit would run out of energy before he pierced the hide. He helped melt Ultron's vibranium body. He summoned a giant lightning blast that was basically the size of a mountain, and even staggered Thanos with a lightning blast. Thor also managed to destroy Sokovia with a lightning amped hit from Mjolnir, turning it into rubble, and he pierced through the Rainbow Bridge with just one blast, whereas previously it had taken around 10 hits from Mjolnir to break through that bridge. Thor is also able to amp his punches with lightning. He was able to use these to just absolutely wail on Hulk. Lightning is also a great counter against Wonder Woman's speed and the possibility of a speed blitz, considering that he can basically create a lightning shield around him in some ways. And if you want to talk about Wonder Woman absorbing and redirecting Ares' lightning, well, I think she'll be able to do the same thing here to some degree. But Thor's lightning is a whole lot more powerful, and it comes out a whole lot faster. It's a really interesting fight, seeing as how they both have similar backgrounds and grew up in a similar way. But Thor holds the advantage in pretty much every area. Wonder Woman is faster, and she might be more skilled, but Thor's stronger. He's tougher. He's definitely skilled enough to hang in a fight. He's got his lightning, and I would much rather have Stormbreaker in a fight than anything Wonder Woman is packing. So yeah, Thor's coming out on top here. Thor wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also be sure that like button, subscribe button, and turn notifications from the Fanco Army. And I will see y'all next time.